Thank you very much. Have we got any time left after those introductions? It's quite a big panel we've got this afternoon, isn't it? So welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. This is what we colloquially call the graveyard slot, when everybody's energy levels are dipping a bit. So thank you for getting everybody up and cheering. Look, we're hopefully going to keep you interested in what we've got to talk about this afternoon. We have got a lot of panelists here, but we've got very varied views on what's going on in the world. And the subject that we're talking about is reshaping global asset allocation strategies. My name's James Young. I work with Cushman and Wakefield, and I operate across Asia Pacific and Europe, Middle East, Africa. And in fact, almost every part of that wide geographic area is covered by the panelists that we've got here today. I'll just start off quickly in terms of what we're seeing at Cushman & Wakefield across the globe at the moment, and we are right the way across the globe. And then we'll get into the panelists and a quick introduction from each of them. But I think over the past decade or so, global real estate markets have really been in a period of dislocation. I suppose it started with COVID and continuing post that. We had, prior to that, a sort of near zero interest rate environment in which to operate, and that ultimately led to significant increases in investment into real estate, and many of us saw the benefits in that in terms of the developments and investments that we made. But we've moved into a much more complex environment now, and higher inflation, financing costs, obviously the geopolitical fragmentation that we've seen across the globe has all meant that things are more difficult, but at the same time, that actually creates opportunity. And hopefully what you've seen here today with the excellent exhibitions there and the presentations that have been taking place today are some of those opportunities that there are to invest across the globe. Having said that, the uncertainty that we've seen over the last, let's just take the last 12 months or so, with obviously trade changes and also, of course, what's going on in the Middle East recently, actually investment volumes have started to pick back up. And that is a very pleasing thing for all of us to see, I think. Almost $1 trillion invested in real estate across the globe last year. That was 18% higher than the year before. And in Q1 of this year alone in Asia Pacific, we've seen over $50 billion invested into real estate, and that's over 20% up on a 12-month period before. Is this microphone working, or is it a bit funny? It's okay? Okay, good. So, as I said, I think those periods of disruption actually lead to compelling opportunities for people, and we're going to hear more about that today. So we've got a very diverse in terms of geographic locations where people are coming from, and hopefully we'll have a really good debate about some of the themes that we're seeing as far as real estate investment, and where you're potentially looking to invest as we go around. Now, what I'm going to do is go sort of across the panelists. I'm sitting in the middle here. Normally when I do these things, I'm sitting on one end and it makes it easier, so I'm going to have to keep turning around. But Brian, let's start with you, as you're on my right. And maybe what I'd ask each of you to do is just spend 2 or 3 minutes, just introduce yourself and the developments that you're sort of involved in, obviously country that you're coming from, and we'll kick off that way and then get into more of a sort of Q&A session.
Sure. Thank you for the introduction. So currently I live in New Zealand. I'm Australian. I've been developing land since 2002 in Australia, and we chose New Zealand after seeing Western Australia hitting a bit of an economic dip in 2014. I basically said I'll pause for a while before I jump into any projects. I think we're probably all asking questions about our lifestyle at this point in time as well, and I was asking it back then, is what does young children, what does safety and security and freedom and liberty and all those things look like? I looked across the ditch and I saw what I felt like represented that, and this is the land of the long white cloud in New Zealand, where I felt like they're a little bit behind where Australia was, but I also saw immense opportunity, which often you do when you arrive to a new place, that had probably been overlooked by some of the locals. So We arrived in New Zealand in 2014 and had a great time for about 6 months. I couldn't help myself. I was in the market and have been in the market pretty heavily in New Zealand ever since. New Zealand isn't the only place we develop. We currently have a development in Bali as well, but we're out of Australia for the time being. Again, I guess in terms of real estate investment globally and in terms of some of the drivers, I'm probably in a similar, let's just say, line of thought to many of you, where you start to think about where you're going to get those, where you're going to place those flags, and what gives you optionality, what gives you redundancy, what gives you the ability to move, what gives you obviously an investment return. But there are many drivers now that perhaps weren't there pre-COVID and pre those days. And so I think that has formed a part of where I am today. I still very much advocate for New Zealand because I think geographically it's a land that is well positioned for what comes next, if anything. It obviously has abundance of wildlife and anything grows. It's just a very, very abundant country. One thing I do want to mention, if you take anything away from this and you are either permanent resident in Singapore or Singaporean citizen, I am shocked, to be honest, of how few Singaporeans know that they have a privileged position, unlike any other country in the world except for Australia, where they can actually buy real estate without any barriers. I was shocked to know how few Singaporeans actually understood that. I'm sure all of you do, but in case you don't, I just wanted to put that in there as well. But that's a little bit about my history. Thanks, James.
Very good. Thanks, Brian. Maybe I need to accelerate my Singapore citizenship, but anyway. Jens, you mentioned Bali, obviously, Brian. Jens, you've been in Bali for how many years? A few?
Well, I've been coming since 2003.
Okay.
And I've been living full-time for the past 3 years.
Yep.
So my name is Jens. Just did a presentation, of course. And I'm originally Danish. I have a background in the Special Forces in Denmark, where I was a sergeant. And I was tired of the negativity. I was tired of being in the cold winter forest and only thinking about doing things that you do in the military, which is not good to other people. Wanted to have a higher quality of life, so I decided to move to Bali, where you have an amazing quality of life, and I wanted to be able to be in a position where I could both set myself up, but also help others set themselves up, both in terms of financial freedom, but also in having a higher quality of life. And the project that I'm a part of, that I am doing with my childhood friend from Denmark as well, and some other great friends, we are creating a space where people can live longer, they can live better, they can also create passive income, so they can have the full spectrum of life, both creating money, but also having a life asset. And I'm proud to be part of something that is doing something better for the world. I want to leave this world with positive energy and a net positive after I go. This is a massive part of that, and that's also the whole team are very... people often joke about Bali being holistic and spiritual and all this, and yes, we are. We want to do something good. We're also high level in business, but we also want to have a great impact. So that's our focus. And of course, also doing it in a way where the investors that we're bringing in also can make money, which if you were also paying attention to my presentation before, wellness and sustainability are also growing. So yeah, very excited to be part of that, and also happy to be here today.
Thanks, Jens. I think we're going to come on and talk a bit about the sort of lifestyle and sustainability piece in due course. But Riad, welcome. You're going to talk to us hopefully about Zanzibar and Tanzania, which is where you're the project that you're involved in.
Yeah, hi guys. So my name is Riad Welly. Originally, I am from Lebanon, living in Dubai for the past 25 years. And then, we always say that the Arabian ships used to always go towards Africa when the winds are favorable, and they always follow their sail. And then I think I did that because I went to Zanzibar following the winds, but for kite surfing. So I discovered the island, and from my first trip to Zanzibar, I acquired a nice piece of land. I was lucky to acquire it at that time. I did not understand the value at that time. That was in 2019. And then it was just like an impulsive decision that I just go ahead and did it, from having all this beautiful energy in Zanzibar. So same as Bali, Zanzibar also had a lot of good energy, very slow pace, very chill and very peaceful. And this is something that makes me fall in love with the place and with the culture. It's such a peaceful, relaxing culture, and the government over there is also working very hard to attract foreign investors. So definitely, it's in infancy, it's still young, it's still in the beginning, but definitely we can see it's taking off very, very rapidly. Since 2019 until now, I saw new airport, expansion of new airport, new port development, new highways, a lot of infrastructure projects, and it's all happening like super fast. I haven't seen it before. Of course, unlike Dubai. Dubai is nothing to compare with, but of course now my friends from Dubai will not like me when I say it. The beauty in Zanzibar is that 180 degrees opposite to Dubai. Those people who are already tired from living a fast-paced life and looking to move to a new place where they can have a much slower pace, much cleaner environment in terms of air and pollution, and the most gorgeous beaches in the world, I think Zanzibar is the perfect destination. And that's why I built my first hotel, Samawa Living, and then Envy Page, which is opening in June, and Samawa Beach Resort, which is under construction right now, and it's a great opportunity for those who want this beach dream.
Very good. We ought to give Dubai the opportunity to come back on that, I think. Onur, you're...
Dubai is still my home. I'm
yeah,
not gonna
I know. But Onur, you're Danube Properties, based in Dubai. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit here, but as we were talking about Dubai, tell us a bit about yourself and obviously what Danube Properties are doing.
Thank you so much. I'm Onur Erten. I'm in real estate 7 years, and in Danube Properties 4 years. I'm international sales manager in Danube Properties. And yes, Dubai is beautiful, and Zanzibar also very beautiful, by the way. I like Zanzibar. And Danube Properties is different than other old developers because we are 33 years old developer, one of the biggest and oldest developer in Dubai. And at the same time, we already launched 44 projects and 22 buildings we already delivered. Those buildings, we have big villa communities. Some of them is building community, 4 or 5 buildings next to each other. And at the same time, some skyscrapers like 50, 60 stories. That's why we already have a very good track record in Dubai, and Rizwan Sajan is very famous businessman in Dubai, you know, also in India and Asian part. And yeah, in the new properties, what we do different, we give fully furnished apartments, which other Dubai developers doesn't do. And at the same time, we are giving a very easy payment plan, just 1% monthly payment plans. So that's why we are different than all other developers. And also our returns is very high than other developers as well in Dubai. We have 8 to 10 return on investment yearly, 8 to 10%. That's why also we are very well confident for our repeat client and investors. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Onur. We're going to come on to talk a little bit more about Dubai, what's going on in the Middle East in a moment. But Nithinun, I'll move across to you and maybe just introduce yourself a bit and the scheme that you're involved in Thailand.
Okay, sure. Nice to meet you again. Actually, I'm Nithinun. You can call me Bomb, but Pete, don't call me on the flight. It's gonna be like very dangerous name. So I come from Thailand. I have 15-year experience in the real estate, especially the condominium. I do both Bangkok project and also right now are doing a Pattaya project. Pattaya is like a kind of beach destination, which is not far away from Bangkok. So our project is like Skypark, Lucean. We are under the Banyan Group brand. So we are branded residents. We offer more than like just condominium, but we focus is on the lifestyle. Because after COVID and after, world is changing, I think right now the investor, they are driven more like a lifestyle and experience driven. They not just only focus the place that they can earn money. But our property, like the customer, They come from many international investors around the world, and they're looking for more lifestyle driven. The place that they can, share a family time with family, and also they can get some income when they away and back home. They can get passive income from our rental management. That's why it's like make our sale is quite good during this period. Yes.
Very good, thank you. We'll go into that in a bit more detail in due course. Vasilis, sorry to leave you to last. Greece, great part of the world that I've been on vacation to a few times before. Tell us a bit about LUX&EASY and yourself.
Great, yes. Thank you very much for the introduction, James. And thank you very much, everyone, for putting up the energy at the late Friday evening to be here. I'll try to match the big life experiences that all the speakers have previously introduced themselves. It will be difficult, but basically what we do, essentially, we are home builders in Greece and Cyprus. We are essentially, this is our backbone, the domestic market, and we're very proud of actually helping families for more than 10 years now in finding the home. Greece, especially the past 15-year period, went through a quite big financial crisis after 2008, and Greek people actually to trust a developer with lifetime savings is a very, very difficult thing. It's a lifetime investment, and that's why we're very proud to have had a big market share in the domestic market, and that backbone gave us a growth starting from 5 projects 10 years ago today to 120 projects residential, and that also gave us sort of the confidence to become more extroversion in opening to other markets our products. Basically today most of our products are coupled with the so-called European residency, the golden visa you might have heard, where essentially we help people from all over the world, mainly outside Europe, to invest very affordable way into real estate, which is a very familiar sort of investment vehicle, and increase their mobility, increase their financial mobility, become bankable in Europe, expand their business, and also find new opportunities for the families, for 3 generations of families, through education and healthcare benefits. So this is how we essentially coupled our domestic product to the international market. And of course, today we're very proud to also have been involved in the hospitality industry with one of the biggest European brand partnerships with Hilton. So we have also hospitality products that also mainly foreign investors are investing to diversify their wealth and also to get even higher returns that could be a bit more competitive even with the market, for example, in South Asia here, or the Dubai market, for example. Yeah, that's a bit from our side.
Very good, thank you. I don't want anybody to think I'm favouring you in terms of going on holiday. I haven't actually been to, I think, everywhere apart from Zanzibar, so maybe I need to make that my next holiday. So
you're most welcome.
Good.
Next month.
Right, let's move on. I talked a bit about the sort of macro economic environment and how that's impacting things across the world, and obviously geopolitical issues that are taking place at the moment. I'm interested in how you're seeing that impacting your own business, and whether you've seen any impact. I mean, in New Zealand you might be so far away from everything that that's one of your advantages, and therefore you haven't seen much of an impact. So I don't know, you start us off, Brian. I'm not always going to start with you. But
No, thank you. It's a good question, and it's a complex one because obviously there's silver linings to everything, and then there's also challenges. We not only have development companies, we have other companies, and some of those are more exposed to some of the fuel issues than others, as are my developments. And so we have refineries that have been shut down in our country, and we have issues there in making sure we have fuel supply. And So probably not different to many other places in that respect, but that adds challenges, and obviously the cost of living goes up, and the cost of construction, and there's contractual issues, and there's all sorts of things to manage your way through. So, yeah, the macroeconomic is one of uncertainty, and that's where we're probably feeling the pressure, like many others. But where the positives are is that yes, more and more people again are going, where do I ultimately want to either be or have access to? And that's where New Zealand, I think, is coming up more and more as an option. Obviously, I like Bali too for different reasons, and Zanzibar I haven't checked out yet, but I'm probably going to after this. But New Zealand, certainly from a family perspective, has always been a geographic safe hub, and I think it's well known for that. Australia and New Zealand, they're well removed, they're established, they're stable, they're safe, and not only safe from a human perspective, but your capital safety as well. And so that's where I think it's quite a stable and recognises that, and getting more so recognises that as people go, where do I park capital in a time of uncertainty? If it's not gold, if it's not silver, it's property, but if it's in property, where? Because there's all this turmoil happening around me, and people want, there's really a capital flight to safety as well as human. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let's move maybe to the centre of some of that turmoil at the moment, and Onur, give you a chance to talk a little bit about Dubai. I think most of us have been quite impressed actually with the way that the Emirates has sort of dealt with things, very difficult conditions. How's it been? And you're sort of hopefully coming through, one hopes.
It was very strong defense, and everything was very normal actually. We were also shocked again, because in COVID also I was feeling something else. I'm Turkish and I live in Dubai 7 years, as I said. So in Dubai we don't feel we are from somewhere else. We feel we are from Dubai. And they take care of everyone like their citizen. And that's why they don't have citizenship programs, but we have golden visa programs. And our topic is about these uncertain times. They, again, really take care of it very well. And it was 98% of success of the defense. So again, Dubai and we showed all the world, we are not only very famous with luxury and economy, we are also very famous with government power and also defense. And yeah, this kind of uncertain times also we have before, COVID, also before 2008 economic crisis in the world. So always, strong people and experienced investors always look at after what will happen. And in this kind of crisis and situations, what we see always we got back stronger, and we have always better in return of all the investments and all the appreciations is coming. And this kind of situation, what we see usually 20 to 30% appreciation after after the crisis. So that's why also right now investors are investing in Dubai and very certain that this time will be passed soon. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really interesting point about turmoil creating opportunity, and is it an interesting time to invest? And I personally predict, I think Dubai is going to come back very quickly. People, once things are sorted out, people will.
For sure.
Nithinun, how have you seen things in Thailand? Have you seen any significant impacts of what's been going on over the last sort of, let's say, 12 months or so, trade, obviously Middle East, etc.? Any impact?
Actually, in Thailand, I think not much impact regarding the situation right now, because actually in Thailand, we're quite far away from the situation. But the thing impact is just like about currency rate, I think. The people, they may consider more regarding the property or investment at that time. But I think it's a bit sad to say that it's quite good opportunity for Thailand. For the people, they are looking for Dubai property right now. They change to consider more regarding Thailand, because we do have many various options available for investor as well. As the new visa program, which is you just spend money around 3 million Thai baht. let's say it's around 1 million US dollar, you can get long-term visa to stay 1 year. So it means like the option, there is an opportunity during the crisis, will not impact a lot, but we have like see a more opportunity to develop our country to, serve more lifestyle option or wellness combined together with like infrastructure. That's it like a kind of opportunity in state of crisis for Thailand. Yes. Thank
you for bringing up the residency piece because we're going to talk about that in a moment. So that's great. Let's come back. You're in Africa. That's sort of different impacts, obviously, of what's going on at the moment. Have you seen any significant effect?
Well, we have two effects. One, which is affecting the tourism. Of course, now ticket prices are up the roof. It's really, really expensive for a lot of people to travel. So we see fewer reservations for the next season, which is starting from June. But of course, once the fuel price starts to go down again, hopefully after peace is reached soon, then things will pick up again. So the short-term impact is, yes, less reservations. And this is, as hotel operation, it is not very good news. But on the other hand, same as our Thai colleague here, we are finding also a positive impact in terms of property sales. So especially that a lot of our investors are also, a lot of them considering Dubai. Dubai is always number one, in our region in terms of attractiveness of real estate investment. A lot of them started to consider diversifying their portfolio and considering new destinations like Zanzibar. It's 5 hours flight, direct flight, 3 flights per day, easy, beautiful destination. And so we see an increase in inquiries and requirements and orders from Dubai residents to start looking into Zanzibar. A few months back, I spoke to many real estate agents, and then they were not extremely excited because super busy. They are super busy with Dubai market. It's overwhelming. And of course, we wish all the best for Dubai market. As I said, Dubai is my home, but a lot of people started to think, okay, maybe we should diversify a little bit. Not everything Dubai. We can buy something in Africa, and they know it's a growing market. So there's negative and positive.
And Jens, what about Bali?
Yeah, it's the same for Bali, negative and positive. People are uncertain. People are scared. What's going to happen in the world? Are we going to have peace? I hope so. We never know. So we have a lot more investors that are also looking in terms of safety, and that's now becoming a top priority. The good thing about Bali and Indonesia in general is that we often refer to it as the Switzerland of Asia, because Indonesia has neutral relationships with everybody. They have good trade relationship with China, same for India, same for Middle East, same for America, same for Russia. So there's no reason to go in. Also, Indonesia has 17,000 islands. It doesn't make sense to take over. It just doesn't. And Bali, what are the military going to do? Come and steal our coconuts and be on the beach? It doesn't make sense, right? So people are safe, and you can invest relatively low ticket, and you get 2-year residency, easily extendable. You can extend 2 times, and then you get 5 years. There's no minimum requirement for you to actually be there. You enter 1 time, half an hour later, you can jump on a plane to wherever you're from, and then you have that safety. So a lot of our investors are looking for an alternative to safety. If things, for example, in the Middle East or now in Eastern Europe, if they're escalating, then they need a safe haven for themselves, for their money, and for their family. Now, I also read this article just yesterday, actually, that Indonesia was rated the 4th safest country, after New Zealand is number 1, by the way, in the world in the event of World War III, right? And yes, we do have the Malaccan Strait up near Sumatra, where there's a lot of the world trade and oil that's going through that, but no one's going to come near Bali. It just doesn't make sense. And then they're saying, okay, well, Indonesia is still a developing country. Does it make sense to hold my money there? So we're also setting up a whole funnel, or let's say a line of how we're helping the investors actually secure their wealth by using branches of Singaporean banks, making sure that if they don't want to hold it in Indonesian rupiah, if they're afraid of some currency fluctuations, completely find, we'll help them hold it in USD or in crypto or in gold, whatever where they're coming from. You know, we're helping our investors stay safe for both residency but also for their wealth. And you know, if plane prices aren't too high, then they can also come and you know, have a good time in Bali. So, yeah.
Interesting. I like the idea that islands equal safety. You've got lots of islands, so you're safe in Greece.
227.
Yep.
Couple of lifetimes.
Yeah. How are you seeing things at the moment?
I mean, obviously, this is a very unfortunate events, what's happening in the Middle East right now, and of course, I mean, I have many friends, to be honest, and wish all the best. To be honest, though, this turmoil, as you said, though, has impacted a lot of families in the UAE, especially, and we have seen people that have started looking. I mean, the interesting fact actually is that people, and especially investors, high net worth individuals that have been mainly focused on the cash flow aspect of the investment or the ROI aspect of the investment, now they're looking also for the stability, for the safety, for a resilient economy, or the fact that they're looking for something which is non-inflationary, not impacted as much from return point of view based on the inflationary economies that exist. So this kind of mentality that has, let's say, right now shifted a bit for many people for high net worth individuals. We have seen, especially in the past 3 months, starting to have these discussions especially for Europe, because I'm talking from European perspective, looking obviously to the impartial position that Europe has had in the whole events. And this is a common, I mean, again, unfortunate topic, but an existing topic right now that exists on the tables of looking those alternative opportunities, not only, again, from an investment point of view, diversification, but also for what's coming next in terms of the sort of the security of families and what goes beyond and the economics behind it. So this is the interesting, I think, shift in terms of the investor mentality that we have observed for the short term. That doesn't have to do anything about the Dubai market and rebounding. Again, I'm going to be clear, obviously, that I mean, Dubai is going to be there even after and even stronger. As Onur said, of course, there's huge opportunities right now for people that have been sort of cash rich already, right? And there's going to be obviously there. But again, there's a clear shift in mentality for many investors that are looking for those alternatives. Yeah.
Good, thank you. Well, Onur, thank you for going through that from yourself. We hope everything improves very rapidly in Dubai. Let's bring it back to that residency piece that, in fact, Nithinun, you started off with. Obviously, you outlined a little bit there the benefits. Is it a significant part of the demand that is coming to your scheme, the residency program?
Yes, actually, once the government they launched this program, we attract a lot of investors who want to stay longer than 30 days in Thailand. So the property value in the past maybe 2 years, you need to invest 10 million baht to get long-term visa. But this time you just invest 3 million baht, and after you transfer the ownership, you can apply directly to be a long-term stay visa 1 year, and you can extend for your family as well. That's why the government they are quite try to adapt themselves to offer the investor in terms of a residency program, or the people who want more privilege. We still have the Thailand privilege visa, which it offer you 5-year, 10-year, 20-year visa to entry and part VIP service. So that's why I think in the changing world, the country that can combine together like lifestyle, safety, and also wellness together with infrastructure is going to be one ecosystem to help. I think when the version is the good thing that many countries they try to improve and develop themselves to offer the better place for investor. Yeah.
And Onur, in Dubai, there are routes through to citizenship and obviously longer term visas, aren't there?
Exactly. We have Golden Visa program and Investor Visa program. So what happened? Dubai is always going back with the easier regulations. Like in Investor Visa, we can see now that just this year, there is no minimum limit to purchase any property. If you purchase any property right now, you have no limit. For example, before it was 750,000 dirham minimum property price, and after that you can get 2 years investor visa. Right now you don't have minimum limit, and if you want to buy together, like 2 people or 3 people together property ownership, you can even get with only 400,000 dirham each owners. And you can get investor visa 2 years valid. You can enter Dubai and UAE whenever you want. And also you can have other visas easier to get. And golden visa still remains the same, $550,000 investment. You can get 10 years golden visa. And every 10 years you can renew the golden visa. And it gives you a lot of privilege. Even, for example, God forbid, you lost your passport in another country, you can go directly United Arab Emirates embassy and you can renew it. So this kind of good privileges they are giving you. And at the same time, you know, being in UAE residence is already giving you a lot of privilege in every country because it's one of the most advanced countries in the world right now. Yeah, so we are very good about the visa programs as well.
Great. Let's talk about Greece. You've got one of the cheapest opportunities from a sort of golden visa perspective and the opportunity, therefore, potentially to move towards sort of European passport.
Most affordable.
Most affordable, not cheap.
Affordable.
Yeah.
Greece is offering European residency. Essentially gives access to the Schengen zone, which is about 30 countries in Europe. And you can obtain that by investing into, I mean, this is the most profitable way and affordable way, investing 250,000 euros into real estate, okay? Of course, it's a particular sort of subcategory of assets that are eligible for this kind of category. There are 3 tiers. The 250 is the minimum, which essentially you're investing in conversions, redeveloped assets that used to be idle commercial buildings or industrial, and we created to residential spaces. So this is the main category and the lower. And then you have also the 400 mid-tier, which is for people that are looking for sort of townhouses outside Athens, outside the metropolitan cities in Greece, and looking a bit more holiday home oriented, let's say a lifestyle also kind of investment. And then also you have the top tier, which is the luxury real estate categories of, for example, nice penthouses or nice detached houses in the Athenian Riviera, where it's on the 800K threshold. The positive note here on our program, though, especially in the 250K category, is the fact that almost for the first time, at least from my experience, we see a program that is supporting the domestic market, is not competing with the domestic market as we've seen with other European programs, essentially not assisting in inflation of the price, but deflation of the current price. And why is that? Because essentially we tackle, the government has thought about it very cleverly, and we essentially provide new housing, new supply essentially to the local market, which is much needed because at the moment we have a huge housing crisis in the capital of about 5-to-1 demand to supply ratio, imagine, huge imbalance. So we have created a way of, as developers, creating golden visa opportunities from one end to help foreign nationals get that residency and get, let's say, that next step potentially the fit to Europe, but also help the domestic Greek nationals by providing new housing, new supply, and normalizing a bit the prices and helping in that huge housing crisis. And so we see two markets that are now aligned together, and fortunately, this is also helping in terms of the interior social issues that many unfortunate gold visa programs have impacted in the past, their own communities, let's say. Yeah.
I think that shortage of housing stock in many of the sort of developed cities across the world is a common theme, to be honest with you. Big problem. Nowhere more so than Australia. My sister has just emigrated to Australia. It was a very, very sad moment in our family. But anyway, she's gone to Sydney, wonderful city. How are you attracting people into the country, other than my sister?
Into Australia.
She married an Australian, so that was why she's gone.
Oh, well.
So, yeah.
So that's the attraction right there. Into Australia specifically, or into New
Australia
Zealand?
and New Zealand.
Okay.
You've obviously got two very different markets there.
Yeah, they are very different, and very different in some respects and similar in others. I guess it really often many of these programs are, of course, government-led, and I think New Zealand's been quite isolated and restricted up until probably the incumbent government, where they have relaxed things a little bit. I say a little bit because we're definitely not at that end. We are, I guess, in terms of just a sheer number, at more expensive end. But what price do you put on that, right? But I would say there's so we have a balanced investment program and the AIP, which is a $5 million program and a $10 million program, which is a pathway to residency under either of those. Of course, the $10 million program is a lot less restrictive, and if you have the money, of course, it can be a pathway to some certainty in New Zealand for you and your family in the future. What I think people overlook when they think about that number is, of course, I mean, if you've got the capacity, great, but even if you were shopping in other locations and they were both 10 million, I think one of the things I like about these investment categories is that you can be the master of your own destiny a little bit. So in other words, you can come in for equity or debt into a development, let's say, under the $10 million. Whereas a lot of these are sort of packaged up in other countries, and you go, this is what you're buying, and you're buying in this location, and this is the program. When you get into that level, you expect a little bit of freedom to choose, and that's kind of what you end up getting. So there's certain asset classes and so forth under the $5 million investment pathway, but it opens up property development, which is a big one. Obviously, single biggest asset class. New Zealand wanted to restrict the amount of flow of capital into that because of course then foreign capital can flow in and into the biggest asset class, and of course it's a buoyant market. And so there's very good profits to be made in property in New Zealand, and so they didn't want all the funds flowing into that asset class, so they raised that bar to 10 million. And but recently, I believe there's been some changes to the $5 million asset to include access to some property developments, whereas historically that was not available. They were trying to share it out amongst other enterprises and see capital flow into agriculture, horticulture, various other innovative type people that might want to put in seed capital or something into other innovative products that are coming out in New Zealand. So they're the two pathways to residency. Obviously, as I mentioned before, Singapore, you can buy a property, but then in terms of accessing it for more than sort of a 90-day holiday visa, there are a myriad of various visa programs that may or may not align with individuals. But outside of that, New Zealand does, it is kind of an exclusive club. And Australia is probably a little less exclusive, a little more accessible, but they both hold a myriad of visa programs. I think Australia probably welcomes a little bit more of the foreign investment, but I think New Zealand probably has a wider list of entries in terms of visa programs, and so we actually end up seeing New Zealand used as a backdoor to Australia.
Yeah.
So we end up with a lot of people who come into New Zealand and with a view that we want to end up in the big land over the Tasman and end up staying in New Zealand, oddly, because New Zealand's just such a stunningly beautiful place and an easy place to live. But that's what I see. I see both governments right now sort of opening that up. Certainly we've got a Liberal government now, or sorry, a Conservative government now. They're trying to loosen those reins. There is, it's a coalition government, so there's been difficulty because part of that coalition has sort of held out on opening it up and keeping New Zealand a little bit restricted. But I see that's only loosening even since they've introduced this. There's been more loosening, and I think that will continue. So I think New Zealand's one to watch in that respect. But hey, this is politics, right? They could equally turn around and stop Singaporeans from being able to purchase tomorrow. This is the way the world is these days. So opportunity certainly exists today, but it comes at a price.
Yeah. Good. Jens, Bali?
Sure. Yeah, Indonesia wants people to come. They want money to come in, so they make it super easy. In Singapore dollars, minimum requirements, 180K, one time. You set up a company, and then through that company, you get your visa. 2 years, easily extendable, 2 years, 2 years, and then it goes to 5, 5, 5, and then it just continues. There's no minimum requirements. You need to enter the country one time, and then you can go away. And what Indonesia is seeing is that the more they open up for these easy visa requirements, the more money is flowing into the country. And Indonesia is on a really good trajectory. The GDP is going well, the country is evolving, and the more they open up for these types of foreign investments, the more it benefits the country. So even now they're also in the process of creating this economic free zone called Kura outside of Bali. So there are more and more shifting towards that, making it much more easy to get residency. I mean, if you guys wanted to start today, it would take 1 month to set up the company, and then 1 month to get the visa, and then you had that for 2 years, simply enter the country one time, and then you go from there. You could either invest into property or, through that company, or you could do other things as well. But 180K Singaporean dollars, and then you have your visa. Yeah, and to extend it would be another 2K every 2 years or every 5 years, depending on how many times you've extended it. It could be extended to your family, partners, super easy, and yeah, it's just good all around.
Good. That might be a bit more in my budget than New Zealand, but anyway, what about Zanzibar?
Well, I think Zanzibar is very similar to Bali as well. Any purchase of property of $100,000 and above, you are eligible for a residency visa for 2 years. You renew it again every 2 years. It will cost again the same amount, $2,000. And then you keep on renewing it, you can say almost automatically, as long as you own this property. So it's very easy, very straightforward, and for us we have our own public relations office, and then we facilitate this to our investors as soon as they invest, they buy the property, we register it with an entity called ZIPA, which is Zanzibar Investment Promotion Authorities. It's a new government body that promotes this investment, and it's one-stop shop where you can register your apartment, you can get your residency visa, you can apply for your family visa as well. This visa applies also for the first-line relatives. And then you can do all the transactions that you want. Even there's also bank account application center inside the ZIPA office where you can apply for your bank account and for all of these. So it's really, really easy. Now, for us as master developers, in order to make a ZIPA project, the minimum investment should be $2.5 million. So this is where it gets a bit tricky. So I think maybe in Bali, I'm not an expert, but I think the entry point is a bit smaller.
Yeah.
So in Zanzibar, if you want to be part of the ZIPA, where people can invest in your project and have residency, your project has to be ZIPA approved, and then there's $2.5 million threshold. And then you have to apply, of course, your business plan. The government will make sure that this is fitting the environment. You have to get all the environmental clearance, which is getting in a good way, in positively more strict. So they want to ensure that the investors are abiding with environmental laws. As you know, Zanzibar is a green zone. They need to maintain certain level of green methods in terms of construction, and make sure that all the process is not impacting negatively the local environment. And of course, hiring local people, and there's like some criteria in order to approve your project. So it has to be $2.5 million, and then it should meet the standard and the requirement to maintain the local environment and sustainability. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward, $100,000, that's it.
Very good. I'm happy to take questions if anybody's got some from the floor. I think you're all awake. That's pretty good. If anybody's got anything, just raise your hand. I'll ask, as we haven't got anybody at the moment, I'll ask, maybe whilst you've got the mic, we've only got about 5 minutes left, but we've got 5 minutes left? 2 minutes? Very quickly, where are most of your investors coming from who are coming into Zanzibar? Just give us a quick idea of the sort of makeup of the countries, of where people are coming from.
So right now, our number one investors are UAE nationals, and almost equal also to Dutch, and British comes third.
Okay.
And then we have Italians. Italians love Zanzibar. They are one of the first people who invested in Zanzibar 35 years ago. So you still have families owning hotels since 35 years in Zanzibar. So UAE, Dutch, and Germans, and British. These are the top, I would say, four group of investors investing in Zanzibar.
Very good. Jens, I'd imagine Australians will be reasonably near the top of the list.
Absolutely, Australia is one of the top. We also have the Dutch, they're also coming. Also UAE, also Singapore, very close, just a quick weekend trip down to Bali. And in general, also all of Europe. And there's a lot of things that are heating up in Europe at the moment, both with the whole conflict on the eastern side, but also the immigration. So in order for people to have that second place where they feel safe, then they're choosing Bali as an investment spot too.
Very good. Brian?
Just due to the requirements, obviously Australia, Singapore are two of the larger groups that are purchasing real estate in New Zealand. But in terms of high net worths, we have a significant number, increasing number, that are coming out of the States and buying up large places in the North and the South Island. So we're seeing those that can afford it, obviously, buying residency and buying access but they're the three top.
Yep. How about Greece?
In terms of the Greek culture visa program, Turkey definitely, yeah. Turkey love Greece, contrary to the media. So definitely Turkish people, a lot of Turkish people, our neighbors in general are very familiar. So Egyptians, we have Lebanese. A lot of Lebanese people coming. If you're looking for the program from the beginning, Chinese has been also one of the top, although reducing in the past few years.
Brits coming in?
Brits coming
because
in.
of Brexit?
After Brexit, definitely. That's a market that is coming up, but not in such high numbers, but it's growing definitely the past few years. Indians also growing quite significantly due to the ties and overall strategic alliance that's happening between Greece and India, and I would say also the past 3 years, I don't know why, but also US.
Yeah, I don't know why either. Right, sorry, Onur, yeah.
Yeah, we have basically all the countries and the biggest countries in the world who is running from tax. US, UK, India, China, Russia. Also, European countries are coming up. Turkey, my market as well, is coming so much because of economic uncertainties and instability is pushing everyone to move out. And yeah, pretty much biggest countries and biggest populations. Thank you.
And what about Thailand, Nithinun?
Actually, Thailand is the same demographic with the other country. But before COVID, Chinese is the number one of the investor to invest in Thailand. But right now, since this few years, I saw some Russians, European, and also some Japanese as well to invest in my property. Yeah.
Very good. Well, look, we're out of time. Thank you very much, everybody, for sticking with us on a Friday afternoon. I think you've heard from a wide range of different panelists, different locations. A lot of them have got things in common in terms of the quality of developments that you can talk to our panelists after this event. But obviously, also in an uncertain world, we're seeing a lot of capital being invested in markets that are generally safer. And I think again that's one of the themes that will come out of what you see from the panelists and also next door in the session. So it's I'm a Brit. It's Friday afternoon. Normally I'd be off for a cup of tea, but maybe it's something a bit stronger. But anyway, if you can give our panelists a big round of applause, please.